message when you hit start broadcast, and it's just like, no, I want to start broadcast. I know what I'm doing. All right, just yeah. What did I do? Oh, there we go. Haha. Adam Simon was giving me a hard time the other week when I had him on, because he's like, the show always starts with you getting the links to everything, and I'm like, yeah, because that's what happens. Okay, just promote real fast, and then we're good.
Sounds good.
Should it be Ed and Jody?
Oh, you're right. And I need to mirror it.
What is mirroring?
It mirrors the image so that the lower third works properly.
That's if everything else wants to work with me now. Hi, whoever's watching.
Oh, so we're currently live?
Yeah. I can. This is the stuff that I edit out of the audio version.
That makes sense. Did that work? It's still not.
Yeah, no, let's see.
That's right.
Oh.
Ta-da!
Except for our names are in reverse.
There? Oh.
Well, I
See,
mean,
Jeff's taught me how to do that like 5 different times, but I still don't know how to do it.
It takes me a little while to remember most times. The Google Hangout toolbox lets you do it.
there you
Whew.
Anyways, as I'm linking that real fast. Come on.
Oh, cool.
And then I will actually put the audio version of this up next Thursday, because I recorded with a YouTuber, might have heard of his name in passing, Jesse Cox. He does some stuff with Geek and Sundry and Polaris and.
Yeah, no, I don't know him personally, but I know of Jesse. Yeah.
He's awesome. Jesse's nothing but the sweetest guy to his fan base too.
Cool. That's always good to hear.
There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, that would help. I'm happy. I promise. There's the link to the. My bad. Like I said, this is the stuff I cut out of the audio version. That's professional.
That's to post it?
That's where people can go to watch us live right now.
Hi, by the way, Jody.
Hi, how you doing?
That's right. You haven't really ever talked.
No.
Not that you and I guess, have talked for real, but.
Just on the comment section on pretty much each episode of the series of the second season.
Exactly.
The other thing I was dealing with a couple minutes ago was realizing that I have to go see Guardians of the Galaxy by myself tomorrow, so that's not exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The friends I was going to go with, they don't do midnight releases for anything anymore. I just discovered this today.
Really?
Well, I feel. Wait, does it come out on Thursday or does it come out on Friday?
Technically Friday, but like it would be a midnight release.
I feel like we went to something recently where it was actually like out at like 10 or something weird.
Yeah, we went and saw it at like 10 o'clock.
What was that? Oh, it was X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Right.
So good.
I love really that show, that movie. That was great. I'm really looking forward to. I've heard good things actually from somebody I know that went to go see a sneak of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I did 2 videos for Comic. Sorry, my cat's in the background. 2 videos for Comic Frontline a little earlier about like what people should read after seeing the movie, and then like a James Gunn 101 where it was like here's what James Gunn has wrote and like worked on and directed. Like I find it funny that no one ever remembers Scream Queens, even though it was probably one of the only good reality competition TV shows, and that was VH1 when VH1 was still good.
Screen Kings. What is that?
Queens?
Scream Queens. It was a competition series where women were competing to be like the next like Scream Queen on the big screen. So like.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
Yeah, and James Gunn was one of the judges. It wasn't that bad. I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was good stuff. But
what I don't understand is why there isn't a reality competition that's like Shark Tank, but for television shows. Like, it seems like a perfect thing to do.
It does, yeah. I don't know. I know. I am very happy that Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge just got a second season.
Oh, that's good. I haven't seen any of that, but it's a good idea to do that.
They did a challenge where they had oh wow, I'm about to lose my nerd cred because my brain froze as I'm forgetting one of my favorite characters from Farscape. They brought the puppet out for Rigel. They had Rigel's puppet out at the very beginning of the challenge, and Rigel was the little guy who was. Oh
no, I know who I didn't. Fart Quest isn't something I get people referencing. Right? Farscape isn't something I hear people reference very much. But I loved Farscape. I watched that whole thing. I binge watched that like
almost 10 years ago,
yeah.
like 9 years ago. Yeah.
I have a replica of John's vest and John's peacekeeper coat.
What's weird to me is I don't feel like I see those actors around on other things as much as you would expect.
Pretty much only John and pretty much only Ben and Claudia.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
I've seen John guest on things. Like I think I've seen him on Castle, and I think I've seen him on a few other things, but not a lot. Ooh.
It's sort of like when Eddie McClintock finished up with Warehouse 13, and I guess he was recurring on Castle last season for the last few episodes.
It was. I don't even know if you could. I don't know if you could call it recurring. I think it's a two-parter that he's been part of at the very end. But he's actually really good in Castle. But I don't know if he'll be back much. I think he might be gone now. They could always bring him back.
Yeah, he's awesome though. In general, I'm really bummed that Warehouse 13 ended. Just like Eureka.
Eureka was weird. They canceled it because they had another show. It was I'm blanking on the name of the show now. It was like the thing. What?
Alphas? Because Alphas got canceled after season 2.
No, I'm thinking of the place that takes place in St. Louis. What's that called? It's
Defiance?
Defiance, which basically Defiance ended up being a sheriff and his daughter in town, kind of, even though the rest of the premise wasn't the same. I feel like they just felt like they had to cancel it because they had a too similar premise coming out for another show.
I kind of want to start watching, because I know it's on Netflix, the very loose Stephen King adaptation.
Under the Dome?
No, it was it's on Sci-Fi. It's why can't I think of the name of it right now? One of the reasons I want to watch it is because Adam Copeland, Edge from the WWE, that's what he's doing now that he's retired.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what show that is.
He was a recurring character for like the first 3 seasons, and I think they're about to be on season 4. And what's even funnier is I'm really bad with names tonight, apparently, because the guy that played the sheriff on Eureka joined that show.
Oh, good! I'm glad, because that guy's really good. I really liked, as much as I don't know that I loved Eureka, but I liked him a lot.
Now we're gonna fight, because I loved Eureka.
We don't have to fight. I did watch Eureka. I enjoyed it enough to watch it. I didn't want to call it like the most amazing show of all time, but it's good. There's nothing wrong with Eureka.
As we seg towards a proper towards a proper topic and getting into what you guys do, have you seen Geek and Sundry web series that has the guy that played Fargo from Eureka. It's the one about the paranormal investigative team.
No.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
I thought I was up on Geek and Sundry stuff. The last show I watched for them was Caper. I
It's
did
pretty
not
new.
know.
Caper was awesome.
I enjoyed Caper, yeah.
Caper was so good. I don't know if that got a second season. I know this one that I'm talking about does, and I'm blanking on the name of it, but I don't know. Like Jesse was actually telling me they're doing something loosely based after video games, where like they're bringing in like he's basically gonna be the Bill Nye of this show, where like they're talking about certain topics from video games, but bringing in an expert to like test whether or not it could be like done in real life, sort of like what Nika does with that sword and other video game replica series. And once again, my cat's in the background.
Well, there's also one show that like video game science or something. There's a guy out there who does it's not so much a show as it is just he just kind of sciences up whether or not the bullet from Mario Brothers could kill you or not.
Oh yeah. Rooster Teeth did something very similar about.
I think it might be on Rooster Teeth actually. It's the name of the show escapes my mind right now.
It was about 2 years ago. I think they're actually doing a new season of it, just with different people. I'm blanking on the name of it too, but it was really, really good. I was surprised by how good it was.
I saw it for the first time, and I'm terrible that I'm blanking on the name of it because I saw it at the Silicon Beach Festival that we screened at early this summer, and the guy was there, and they showed an episode from it, and he was a really nice guy, and it was a lot of fun. And normally, I think he's just a voice, so it was kind of nice to meet him.
But of course, and this will be the worst segue known to mankind, as I usually do. But we're talking about web series because Ed and Josie are well known for Pairings the series, which is a very fantastic web series that I've started watching with season 2. I still have to go back and start watching season 1.
Yes, but season 2 we're really, really proud of. So I'm thank you for watching.
It's awesome, but to start with is, I guess the question would be, Jody and Ed, how did you guys come up with Pairings, and like what was the evolution of that from premise to hitting the screen, so to speak?
I'll let you take this one.
It really all starts with a bottle of wine, and a tipsy night, and a dumb idea that ends up on paper, and then ends up in pre-production, production, and now you're watching it. So we just were, throwing around ideas after we'd had a couple of glasses of wine, and it was kind of based around the fact that Ed is an amazing cook, and, I married him almost 9 years ago because, I love him, but also he's an amazing cook.
It's mostly because I can cook. That's the main reason she married me. And so we've always kind of thought that cooking in this day and age makes a man sexy. Because, I mean, if you look at me, I'm not obviously that sexy, so it must have been something. And so we always thought it was the cooking that helped. And so that was the premise we decided that would be a fun premise for a show, and we didn't feel like anybody had done it before. And even though there's a lot of food movies out there, like the most recent one, Chef and Big Night and Julie and Julia, we hadn't seen a TV series like that. And so we were like, why don't they do that? And we decided to try and fill the void.
And we kind of brought in all of the other things that we are familiar with, which is, tabletop gaming and nerds in general, geeky stuff, and we kind of rolled that all together to kind of, I don't know, just appeal to people like us.
Yeah. In the first season we played D&D, but I don't actually think there is any D&D. We have a lot of tabletop games. We just reference it, though.
References to D&D, for sure, in the second
I'm almost disappointed in myself that I didn't throw D&D into the...
We kind of wanted to get more tabletop gaming in, other games.
We do have the line, but I thought you were rolling natural ones in that department, too. That was...
Yeah, and there's an explanation of how elves and dwarves aren't compatible.
Yes, that's true, too.
I actually just got almost full set because I know they're going to be releasing expansion number 5 soon. But I have almost a full Cards Against Humanity set because I have the bigger, blacker box, which is full of all 4 expansions, like the PAX East cards from this year's PAX East, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And that game is so much fun. That and Munchkin are really the only 2 like actual like card games I've really been able to play so far. And most of it I'd blame on Will Wheaton, because the second I started watching tabletop, I was just like, yep, this is going to happen. More tabletop games from now on. Cause
He makes you want to play those other tabletop games. What's really terrible about Cards Against Humanity is I actually played it with my mother not that long ago, and that was disturbing.
Mother and brother.
Oh, yeah. It was a big group of people, and people broke out Cards Against Humanity, and we assumed my mom was going to go to bed, but she stayed and played. That was quite an interesting night.
See, if I played with my mom, she'd probably win, because that's her sense of humor.
She did do well.
I was gonna say she could easily outbeat like me or any of my friends. We actually, when I was shooting the pilot for the TV show I'm involved with, we sat and played we were playing in the bar for a good 4 hours. And then, like 2 hours after that, we were playing in our room on like the Saturday we were shooting, because we got there on Wednesday and then left on Monday, so we only got to play that one night, but it was a good like 6 hours throughout.
Wow.
Yeah. I won the first round, just for the record. I'm throwing that out there.
You know, I think I always do terrible at Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, you just want to put out your good cards. That doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, I think I cash out my good cards too fast.
Well, my favorite one, and we all took a picture of it. One of my favorite wins that whole night was War. What is it good for? Was the question card, and I had in my deck exactly what you'd expect, and that's what I played, and I won with that.
What?
Exactly what you expect.
Oh, I see. That was the actual line. I thought he was saying.
Yeah.
It would be exactly what you expected.
That's actually very funny.
But what would you guys say is probably your favorite like tabletop games, even whether it be like on set or off set? Because it does seem like, and you can probably correct me if I'm wrong. Are you guys fully playing while you're shooting and maybe like improving?
No, well,
we do more than you'd think. We set the game up entirely properly, and we actually.
Well, that's a lot to do with Rick.
Yes.
Rick Robinson, our director.
My brother.
Who owns pretty much all of the games that we're seeing on screen.
He plays Drew to make a.
He plays Drew, and our director. And he really takes it seriously when setting up the games. You know, we all have played all of them, but he really attention to detail, definitely, in setting up the Game of Thrones game.
He makes sure that
goes through and makes sure that they're mid gameplay. You know, coaches every single one of the characters to be like, okay, this is what you're doing in the game. This is what your next move would be.
And he literally makes sure that it's appropriate to the script. If one character is supposed to be winning, if you look at the board, I'm sure there's no shot that can show you this, but the board is set up for that character to be winning that game. So. Yeah. While we don't actively play the game because they're too complicated to try and act the scene around, we do have it choreographed, I guess.
Yeah, choreographed to whatever the next move would be.
But also favorite games off. What's your favorite? I know you're.
I love Lords of the Waterdeep. I've been on a kick for that for a long time. That I'm kind of getting tired. I'll always play it. I love Seven Wonders. I was kind of burned the first time I played Firefly, the game, but the second time when we played it for just 2 people worked really well, and I kind of want to go back and play it again for 2 or 3 people.
And I think my favorite's always going to be Arkham Horror, although it's something you can't play every time because it does take 6 hours. But I do love that game.
I gotta see the Firefly game. I didn't know that it was in existence. I'll have to check that out. That sounds awesome.
It's very complicated. So the first time I played it, it wasn't exciting, and then the second time I played it, I was even more turned off. But I gave it a third try, and the secret is fewer players, no more than 3 players, because it's really, really, really
The
complicated.
idea is you're picking a captain of a different Firefly, and you fly around the universe doing jobs for people and picking up crew that helps you do these jobs. So it's you encounter the characters and the people from the game through cards, and it's fun.
We haven't played Dominion in a while.
I like Dominion. That's another card game. It's
In
a
quite
deck
a while.
builder.
Yeah, we should do that.
I have to check. It's half of my issue when it comes to like like all the tabletop games is like all my friends are pretty much all over the place. So like no one lives close enough to be like, let's have a game night. It's not possible, which is a bummer. We have to wait until
Well,
there's like a convention or something.
It's a problem just in LA. I mean, people live so far abroad in LA that it can be an hour to get to somebody's house. So it can be an issue for us too. I think we're going to do one this Saturday though. So
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of game nights. And something that we played a few weeks ago that I actually love playing is poker. I mean, that's your ultimate tabletop game, right? And I got so excited playing poker that I kind of want to do it again.
What do you role play at all? Do you do any D&D or anything?
I haven't in a really long time, and I do want to get like back into it. I was thinking one of these days if like if I can somehow organize it, like my friends via like whether it be like Skype or something, we can just put something together and have someone be like the DM and just.
I promise that I don't get any money from these people at all. I actually supported them on Kickstarter, but Roll20.com is an awesome thing where you do it. I think through Google Hangout. You do it through Google Hangouts. I do this all the time now, and they have a map and everything so that you can. It's just like playing with your friends live because you control your little tokens and. They just have a map that you have up there. It's really fun and easy to do now.
And he plays with so we're in Los Angeles. He plays with people in San Francisco, Sacramento, Fresno, and Paris, France.
Which makes scheduling a little difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
I always tell the story about remembering the last time I played D&D. I was like a junior in high school, and I kept rolling terribly because like for whatever reason. My character gets shot with an arrow in the arm during one battle, and then because I kept rolling terribly, I couldn't get it out of my shoulder. So he's basically just sitting back, being like, "No, I'm good, guys. I'll just stand here, bleeding out, because having fun with this in my arm. Totally not in any pain or anything, which was driving everybody I was playing with nuts. And I'm like, but I'm just having fun, because that's totally what my character is. He's just basically being Deadpool style, where he's just opening his mouth and complaining every 2 seconds. I'd be horrible to play with, because that's exactly what my character's personality would be. Just sarcastic, and like if he ever got injured, he'd be like, "So, is anyone gonna help heal me?" Or no, I'm just gonna be over here. Okay, cool, whatever, guys.
That's fine, as long as you don't always split the party. And those are the only people you don't want to play with. Splitting the party is bad. Just remember that when you play D&D.
My friend, he runs Weird Girls, the Weird Girls YouTube network. My friend Mark, they just started doing a D&D type web series because he had never played before, so he got a whole bunch of other people that had never played before, and they got a DM, and they just started like doing a web series about it. It's pretty fun so far. They're on their they just did released their third episode, so I think they're going to be on episode 4.
We need to do like a tabletop version of D&D where you have like celebrities on.
Yeah, there you go.
That could be a lot of fun if it's people who really don't want to be playing.
And the people that don't want to be playing? I don't know if that would be fun.
Maybe not.
That'd be like all black playing poker.
I was going to say, see, poker's fine unless you're playing with people that are terrible, terrible liars, in which case you can be like without saying it, you can be like, I'll call your bluff, because I know you're lying.
Yes.
That's probably just people that don't know how to play. I don't know. What do all these reds mean? They're all the same shape, and they happen to go in order. I don't know. Is this something? That's like playing with my father.
Although your father is the master of like, is this something? And he'll put it down, and it'll be like a royal flush. And you'll be like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
So once again, worst segues ever, but but getting kind of back on topic, I'm kind of curious. Was there a Kickstarter for the first season as well as the second season? Because I know it was after I discovered it was after the Kickstarter to season 2 had ended. But I was very happy to see that it was successful. But was there a Kickstarter for the first season as well?
There was a Kickstarter for the first season where we raised about $8,000 for the first season. That was mostly family and friends supported, I would say, for season 1. Whereas season 2, we got more money, and it was really a fan supported Kickstarter campaign to get the second season going. And we were able to, it was a little bit more money. Season 2 looks a little nicer than season 1, but we also we had our whole same crew back, and so we were all very comfortable working with each other. So we added a lot more complex camera movement and more dynamic shots to how we wanted to film season 2.
And a couple of new locations.
Yeah, we were able to spend a little bit more money on some locations. We were at a beach this time, which was fun, and a couple new characters. But yeah, Kickstarter for both seasons.
Yeah, I think, and this is probably safe to say, is both Alan and Bobbert really are like the lead lead characters that we follow, especially through season 2, especially. And I think Bobbert's story has been really interesting, especially because he's been separated from the rest of the cast. And
see, that's good to hear you say that, because that's exactly what we were going for. In season 1, if you go back and watch it, it's really more than I wanted it to be. It was Alan's show. I mean, Alan was the lead of the show. In season 2, I really didn't want that to be the case anymore. I wanted it to be a much more ensemble cast, and I really wanted Bobbert to become a bigger character, more interesting stuff going on in this. So it's exciting to hear you say that, and it is a problem because he and Alan are basically estranged for the whole season. The guy he's supposed to be part of a group of friends with, he's not seeing at all.
Sorry, my dog's losing her mind in the background. I don't know if the microphone's picking that up.
I didn't hear it really. What kind of dog do you have?
She's a mutt. I've always guessed half collie, half beagle, just because of her coloring, and her nose is like kind of long. So that's what I've always guessed.
I had basically a collie growing up too. They're great dogs. Mine was a little bit of a mutt, yeah.
But back on topic. Allie, shush. Is the microphone picking that up? I can't tell.
I can hear a little bit of a dog bark. Bog dog?
Okay.
You got Bobbert and dog mixed.
But yeah, we did see kind of the almost like crossing the stream, so to speak, because obviously Alan leaves. Yes, I made a Ghostbusters reference.
Yes, no, nice Ghostbusters reference.
Because Alan leaves the check for Bobbert, which I thought was pretty interesting, and I'm being vague intentionally just so people can specifically watch that episode for themselves. But I did enjoy that scene, and I'm looking forward to it. I can only assume there's going to be something in the finale that'll probably like satisfy or pay off on the themes of the whole season.
Yes, without giving any spoilers away for the finale, you will see some resolution of that. I won't tell you which way it goes, though.
I think we did our job well, though.
I think the audience will be satisfied.
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm really curious about this, being that you're one of the leads of the series, but as well as being behind the scenes just as much as you probably are in front of the camera, and like you see that more and more with, say, even traditional TV nowadays, with everyone from like Jensen Ackles on Supernatural to
Mindy Kaling.
Yeah, and even back in the Smallville days when the lead of Smallville there, whose name I'm blanking on, he was even getting behind the camera more and more. So like,
interesting.
It is interesting to kind of see that actors just aren't necessarily actors anymore, and that they're also behind the scenes. So is that kind of weird to kind of juggle that juxtaposition?
If you look at the credits of the TV show The Office, it's like half of them were writers, almost all of them ended up being producers.
Yep.
One of them was the showrunner, and I think that was a lot Ed's role too, because he specifically, and I'm sorry, I'm talking about you like you're not here, but he specifically decided, I do not want to direct this. So Ed is the writer, a co-executive producer, because we executive produced together, as well as being the star. And we really, really wanted his brother to direct it. So his brother kind of also did the in front of the camera, behind the camera. But it was a really conscious decision that Ed was really good at, that, you know, we were doing all of the producing stuff during the week. We shot on the weekends, and once Ed walked on the set, he was no longer the producer. He was occasionally the writer, because in season 2 there are a number of scenes that he's not in, which was unusual. In season 1, he was pretty much on camera almost the entire time. So for season 2, there were some scenes that he actually didn't have to be on camera, wasn't really producing, because there was me and there was other producers that were also on set, so that he could simply be the writer.
And yeah, for the most part,
how did you feel about that? 'Cause I never asked you that.
No, I love that. I've been on plenty of film sets and things where people are doing the producing and the acting at the same time, and other jobs as well. And it's a very stressful environment if you have to be constantly thinking about when's lunch going to be here, and is the footage getting downloaded properly, and is this shot properly lit. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't have to do any of that stuff. I did that. I show run during the week, and I make sure the schedules are going out, and I do call sheets and all that kind of stuff. But once I walk on a set, it's really important to me that Jody take over doing the executive producing, my brother takes over the directing, and Seth Johnson does all the camera work, as well as everybody else doing their job. That I really only have to be an actor and worry about my performance. And occasionally I do have to be a writer when people want to ask questions about whether or not we can make a certain script change and stuff. Most of the time it works. I mean, there's the occasional time that it's just unavoidable. Somebody has to ask my opinion about something, and I give my 2 cents. It's not like I absolutely say, no, I will answer no producing questions. But it makes my life so much less stressful that I don't have to do anything but worry about acting and going off to rehearse with another actor during shooting days. And that's important to me. I want, if I changed and ever was a director, I think I'd want to mostly just direct, and I'd be a much smaller role in the show. I wouldn't want to be a lead and direct at the same time.
And this is slightly joking question, but you'll know exactly why I'm asking it. Who's the biggest Battlestar Galactica fan on crew?
On crew, I think you'd have to say Rick.
It might. Okay, here's the thing. It depends a little bit on whether you're talking about new or old. But yeah, I think Rick Robinson, my brother, probably.
Because Rick likes both the first version and the second version.
Yeah, it has to be Rick, because he grew up with the original, and he's a huge fan of the new one. So even though I love the new ones, and Reed, our key grip, loved the new one, and was super excited to have Richard Hatch on set.
I love the new one.
Rick is the only one I think that was a big fan of both.
Yeah, and having him getting the chance to direct Richard Hatch was like a dream come true.
He was a little bit of a kid in a candy store.
He was totally giddy, but played it totally cool and professional. That I think he just as soon as Richard Hatch was off set, he did this little happy dance. So he was totally thrilled, and it was an amazing scene that came off really, really well, and it was a really great day. Richard is really awesome.
I was not sure that he was going to want to do that second scene. I don't know if we should spoil or not.
It's early on. It's the second episode. You can spoil it.
So I wasn't. We weren't sure that Richard Hatch was going to want to play the game Battlestar Galactica on camera, but he loved it. He actually added more to it and everything. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we sent him the script, and we were kind of not sure of his reaction, but we got a response. I think it was 7 minutes, but I know I checked my email. It was within 2 hours. He'd already gotten back to us, loving the scene. So it made us feel really good, and we were excited that he was game for the joke.
Yeah, that episode is actually probably one of my favorites of the season so far, because it was great to see Alan going back and forth with one of his mentors, and just having that almost quiet moment to kind of see those two characters bounce off each other, and And he seems super awesome. Like I've never seen any of the original Battlestar Galactica, mostly because I'm 27, so
Yeah, exactly.
I,
No,
I
he
grew
was.
I grew up on the as I call it the Mark Shepard effect because Mark Shepard's in almost every single possible thing I think I've enjoyed since since forever. He's in Supernatural, Battlestar Galactica, Warehouse 13. What is Mark Shepard not in? Is a
What is
more
Mark
appropriate
Shepard
question.
in Battlestar?
He was oh wow. My friend if my friend Dean watches this, he's gonna kill me. He was the oh wow.
Or Warehouse 13. I'm trying to. I'm losing
Oh
all
yeah.
my gear.
Warehouse 13, he's in the very first season as one of the regents, and then he shows back up in season 5 due to like an alternate reality thing.
Oh. Is he what? Is he the British? No.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah,
him. I know who
yeah,
Mark Shepard is. Yeah, he's
yeah.
actually in Leverage
He's
too.
yeah. Oh yeah, God yeah. He's amazing in Leverage.
He, he's a
Had
recurring
you
character in Medium.
Is he really? Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's all over the place, Mark Shepard.
yeah, I was gonna say, Ed, you join a show that has had John Rogers on it twice, so I love John's writing. You kidding me? That Blue Beetle run that he did for those 2 years is amazing. I mean, not only Leverage, but I mean the Blue Beetle run that he did with Keith Giffen is so good. Uh, if you've never read it, I would recommend it.
All right. I will have
It's
to check that out.
it's the Jaime Reyes version of the character. It's not Ted Kord, but Ted
Okay.
Kord is going to show up on TV very soon, if theories are to be believed. He might be
In,
he might be a character joining Arrow, is what
in
a lot of
Arrow?
people are thinking. Yeah, because his name has been name dropped through the whole first 2 seasons so much, and they've casted a mysterious character whose name is like Dan something, but everybody thinks it was a false name and that it's actually Ted Kord. Plus, they already
Oh,
have Brandon Routh is showing up as the Atom, and
that
then
I knew. I knew Brandon Ruth was joining the cast. Arrow is one of those shows where I watched the first season. It was a CW superhero show. It was kind of a guilty pleasure. And then by the time they got to their second season, I was like, this is just a really, really good show. Some of the scene right after the car crash this season was just super awesome.
yep, I'm
Really,
really excited for Flash too.
I
Flash
am.
and Constantine.
It's nice because DC, I feel like, with the exception of maybe the most recent Batman movies, kind of has a tendency to screw up their DC movies, whereas Marvel's doing such a good job of cross-pollinating their Marvel movies. It's nice to see that DC's now actually getting it right on the TV screen. It seems like it's gonna become a really interesting set of lesser characters on TV, which I think is exciting.
Yeah, I cannot wait for those Netflix shows. Daredevil, like all the news they've released for Daredevil so far, it's like I am so excited to see exactly where they take that show. But I still think Iron Fist is going to surprise us all in the best possible way.
Iron Fist. I have a friend who loves Iron Fist, and he was actually writing a script for Iron Fist till it actually started coming out. Uh, but yeah, I know he's crazy excited about Iron Fist, and he's a character I didn't know a lot about until I started reading his scripts and went like, oh, this guy's an interesting character. I'm really excited about that.
You know what? You know what I'm
Daredevil.
still. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Daredevil actually was one of my favorites. Actually, I love Daredevil as a character, and
Have you
he's been underserviced.
have you read the Mark Waid run at all? So good.
No, it's been a little while since I collected comics. I used to collect them in college, and it's been a little while since then.
He just did 3 years worth of stories, and they just relaunched it with a new #1, where now Daredevil is out in L.A. for some reason.
What? L.A.?
I
That
ha-
doesn't seem right.
yeah, I haven't read it. Yeah, no, the guy who's supposed to be in Hell's Kitchen is suddenly in California for some reason. But it
That,
works. It's like 5 issues in so far, so.
I guess it works. I mean, you already got Spider-Man in New York. Who's in L.A. in the Marvel universe?
So far it's looking like we could be getting a new West Coast Avengers.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because Moon Knight's been over there, uh, and I'm pretty sure he's still over there because Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev did a series with him over there. And
Brian
now
Michael Bendis is always one of my favorite comic book writers.
you also join a show that has had Brian Michael Bendis on it. So.
Really? Brian Michael Bendis is? I'm excited about that. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you should go back and listen to that episode. It's a fun
I
one.
will.
People pay me a very very awesome compliment on that episode because they said it sounded like two old friends talking. And I'm like, I've only met Brian like 3 times, so like it was kind of good to get to have him on the show and talk. It was right before, it was right in the middle of when he was still doing the Avengers Assemble, and right before Guardians of the Galaxy, like his series had launched. So it was
Nice.
basically me going, I'm on to you, Brian. I know you guys haven't made the announcement about this Guardians of the Galaxy series, but I'm on to you. But and then Tony Stark is heading over to California, so that's why I'm saying it's looking like a West Coast Avengers reunion. All they need is Hawkeye and Mockingbird to head out there, and then because Mockingbird's alive again.
Mockingbird. Yeah, it's hard to keep track. No
Yeah,
superhero really dies forever.
she came back during Secret Invasion. Like I know that when I brought up West Coast Avengers, I saw your eyes light up, and that was actually West Coast Avengers issue number 100. Bobby's death was one of my first comic books as a kid.
Really?
Yeah. So I've always thought of that, and then the second I saw that she was coming back, I'm like, why are you reaching into my childhood? What is this, Marvel?
I'm okay if comic books reach into my childhood. I just don't want Michael Bay to do it anymore.
Oh God, no. I will not be seeing the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, thank
They
you.
have noses, Eric. Why do they have noses? I don't understand.
I have my updated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. It was TMNT, it was CGI, and it came
I
out
love
in 2007.
That was great. I really enjoyed that movie.
It was the first movie my dad and I had seen together in the theater since Star Wars Episode 1, A Phantom Menace. He fell asleep during Phantom Menace. You know what he didn't fall asleep during?
That at all.
Yeah, but you know what he didn't fall asleep during?
TMNT?
Yeah.
TMNT is a good movie. I would say it's a better movie than Phantom Menace. I'm going to say that right now.
Plus, the
You're gonna have
voice
to get
cast. The voice cast in that movie is amazing. It's Steve Bloom, it's Chris Evans, it's Sarah Michelle Gellar, it's Patrick Stewart. It's like one after another, just falling into place.
Somebody does Casey Ryan too. I don't remember.
What? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No, I was just trying to remember one of the voice actors in the show.
Oh yeah, no. Chris Evans was Casey Jones.
Casey Jones. I said Casey Ryan.
You're good. You're good. No one heard it.
That's terrible too, because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was. It's arguable whether ElfQuest or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the first comic book I ever read. One of the two.
I grew up with the cartoon and then found the comics.
Oh, of course. I'm a tad older than you, I guess, so I got the comics first. I was so excited when there was a movie coming out.
It was when Archie was doing the comics was the first time that I read any of the comics.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. When they were the little magazine-sized comics, so you would get like basically a full story in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was really good stuff. Or at least from what I remember as a little kid, I remember enjoying the hell out of those comics.
Yeah.
I find it funny that like when it comes to comic book actors, obviously Chris Evans is up there, Ryan Reynolds is up there, and then I think there was a new contender to the throne for who was playing a lot of comic book characters, but I can't remember who it was right now.
It's not always. Chris Evans is the rare exception where it's not always a good sign when they are playing a lot of different comic book characters, because normally if you've mastered one, that's the one you're going to play. So it's like Hugh Jackman's never going to play anything but Wolverine, right? Because he's Wolverine.
Yeah.
And the same goes for Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. They were both kind of almost made to play those roles. So it sometimes is rough, like, because the guy you mentioned, not Chris Evans, Ryan Reynolds, he's played several. Reynolds. But I haven't been in love with any of the movies that he's played the superhero in yet.
Have you seen the Deadpool footage that leaked yet?
I have not. No.
It's so good.
I'm aware that
it's 2 minutes of him just completely unleashing the Deadpool that us longtime fans have known and loved that he could be for years now, and that we only saw a very small tease of in the very beginning of